Well, Newcastle Gateshead is an initiative that was set up to address the health inequalities, in Newcastle and Gateshead, in the most vulnerable communities. There are 4 target areas. There is inner west of Newcastle, there is Byker, there is Felling, and Chotwell in Gateshead. One of its principal aims was to get people to realise that they had a community around them, and if they reached out, they could join with other people and create great activities.
So Converge at Northumbria, we work with those in the community who access some sort of mental health support or have challenges associated to kind of poor mental health. And we offer kind of creative campus educational opportunities for those people to come into university. The idea is it's about working alongside Northumbria University students and also working alongside kind of academics, Converge staff and industry professionals, depending on what kind of courses that we're offering. The arts are sometimes seen as inaccessible to lots of people for different reasons, and a lot of that could be to do with kind of their mental well-being or financial restrictions. And what Converge and what these 2 projects do is about bringing those people together and knowing that they can be entitled to be there and entitled to be part of it and welcome to be part of it as well. Yeah, so for this we employed 2 graduate artists, and they then worked with the individual Converge students each week, kind of looking at different techniques, I suppose, around fine art, using kind of different materials, which were all provided as well, which was an amazing thing. And then the monologues were kind of introduced, and people just took inspiration from the monologue.
Between July and September 2021, Curious Arts delivered a community-focused, participatory arts programme in 7 public parks across Newcastle and Gateshead. Curious Arts projects Wildflower and Mini Pride visited local communities coming out of lockdown due to COVID-19, popping up at Elswick, Nunsmoor, Saltwell, Chopwell, Exhibition, Harbottle and Walker Parks throughout the summer. Developed with a focus on community wellbeing, the projects created the opportunity for local artists and community members to come together again following a long period of social isolation, taking part in colourful, creative activities and performance, celebrating pride, community and self-expression.
So we were supported by Newcastle Gateshead for 2 projects. The first one being Story Time on Your Doorstep, which involved us working with families in Byker and some of the surrounding areas in the East End. We were then funded a second time, again for more Story Time on Your Doorstep. Part of our mission is around telling stories that matter, that are important to people, about how we challenge the theatre that's told on the stages in England and the UK. And part of that is by telling more diverse stories and stories that people don't often get to hear, and letting people know that actually their stories and experiences are valid. And in terms of the impact that we've had, the first families we met through the Story Time on Your Doorstep were just so happy to have that kind of contact. It was delivered during kind of the first summer of the pandemic, so 2020, so a time when the world was very kind of separated and just kind of that access to regular activity that you might have had was not there. So families were really grateful for that. We could see the impact in the families by the feedback they were giving us and the kind of lovely response we got on the doorstep. And in terms of moving on from that, the longer term relationship we've built with some of those children and young people and their families, we can see the increase in confidence in those young people, the increase in performance skills as well. A lot of the children were quite shy and timid when they first came into this space, but now really confident in public speaking, expressing themselves creatively, sharing their creative ideas in a way that we didn't see when we first started working with those children.
We had a project called Making Music, which the making was about making the instruments. It wasn't about actually playing them. That came further along the line. So at one extreme we were making fairly traditional thumb pianos, a range of sizes from very small, some of the smaller ones were half a coconut, and some of the bigger ones you basically hit with sticks. You know, they were right through the spectrum to electric guitars, where obviously you can't make from scratch, but we were making the stock from scratch, and we were recycling various things for the soundboards and things. We were supporting a guy who was initially a recluse. He was living with us, but was a recluse. Hadn't been out of the house for 4 years. Well, I hadn't been out of his flat for 4 years. We came and only got halfway up the hill, then got a bit further, got to the front door, got into the facility and lasted 12 minutes before we had quite a significant panic attack. Now we're having to say to him, you can't come every day. And now he's talking about maybe wanting to get a job. So from someone who was a recluse to wanting a job is a massive step.
Today is a launch of a very important project that was initiated in this community anyway, towards the anti-knife crime, okay? So we then came together and say, what do we do about it? Why is it happening? And what little can we do to kind of spread the awareness or consciousness of this social problem?
I believe we could use music as a narrative to actually explain our story and how we want to work together with the different communities that are, you know, within the area we're in.
Now how did I miss this? Feeling pretty restricted, wanna be heard, not contradicted. Now be unrestricted, fully turn the nut, just like I predicted. Knocking on the door and my queen gets evicted. See, I tell you what I know, it's like it's been scripted. Look, I thought that I meant.
I'm Lucy Henderson and I work for Friends Action North East, and we work with adults with learning disabilities and autism to develop their sort of friendship skills and social skills and help them become less socially isolated and connect with the local community and community activities. The first project that we were funded was Make Friends Make Art, where we worked in partnership with Northern Print and Liberdadi, and it was a printing and a dance project.
This is our community garden at Walker. We started roughly about 6-7 months ago, and this is some of the things we've done in the garden.
To the garden, I've made so many friends, so that the socialising became amazing. And when I'm at the garden, I've learned loads about healthy eating. I suffer from anorexia, and I just think I've taken care of myself so much more by eating the healthy things. And I take stuff home from the garden, and I do casseroles, rosemary goes in. The well-being side of it's fantastic. I feel so much better when I'm here. And it's something to get up for in the mornings, and you know you're going to have a good day.
So I'm Claire Webster-Saramet and I'm Artistic Director of Skimstone Arts. And Skimstone Arts' mission is to support diverse artists, communities and individuals and those at risk of social isolation to create work with, for and about the world that matters to them. So we've done a series of projects with Newcastle Gateshead over the years. There are so many stories of where people, and I have to respect it, people have come every single session. People have engaged on Zoom during lockdown, despite the fact they are struggling with their mental health, struggling with poverty, struggling with food banks, struggling in lots of different ways.
Thank you for funding this fantastic festival for us. We had an absolutely brilliant time, made loads of friends, loads of connections and loads of confidence.
And I'll say thank you very much for funding towards Skimstone Arts and we appreciate everything you have done for us.
Thank you for funding the organisation of Skimstone Arts.
And it wouldn't be possible without the backing and the funding of you guys. So I'd like to thank you very much and we'll keep up the good work.
We've worked with some great individual artists and some great kind of arts and cultural organisations and some great people out in the community, you know, and they've produced some fantastic work. How sometimes the simplest task, doing it with someone else and developing that connection, I think is massive.